The civil war in South Sudan has entered its 5th year. The world's youngest country gained independence from Sudan in 2011. The conflict, which started 2 years later, has driven some 4 million people from their homes. 7 million, almost 2/3 of South Sudan's population, could become severely food insecure in the coming months. Bentiu, capital of Unity State. It's seen some of the worst fighting since the civil war began. Violence has flared again, bringing a fresh influx to the POC, the so-called Protection of Civilians camp. It's the biggest settlement for the internally displaced in the country, with some 120,000 residents. Most women arriving here have faced harassment and violence in a country where rape has become a weapon of war.
There were many of us women next to the river. Some criminals came and picked 7 of us. We were taken to the forest. We all knew we'd been raped. We comforted each other by saying that this happens in every war. We knew that if you don't get raped today, you'll be raped tomorrow.
65% of South Sudanese women have experienced sexual or physical violence, twice the global average. Financed by the EU, UNICEF is playing a leading role in preventing and responding to gender-based violence.
Cases of sexual violence against women have soared since 2013, and we're now dealing with an almost epidemic situation where there are constant attacks on women. Things are getting worse every day.
The NGO International Rescue Committee, coordinated by UNICEF, runs 4 women's centres in the camp. Here, women find protection, training and assistance.
Of all the women who are in the camp, over 50% have been raped. They have experienced sexual violence, either in the POC, outside the POC, or en route to the POC. We give them the psychosocial support, and we give them information about the consequences of the violence, especially sexual assault, and the need to seek medical attention.
Moving into the camp doesn't necessarily mean an end to the violence. Some 20 cases of rape per week are reported by each IRC centre. A daily chore like looking for firewood is among the riskiest activities. The NGO Non-Violent Peace Force has carried out daily checks around the camp's perimeter for the past 3 years.
We are monitoring the situation by having simple conversations with women as they come from collecting firewood, elephant grass. We get more information from them on the security situation. We also give information from what the women are telling us so that we see how they can be better protected.
Supported by UNICEF and the EU, the NGO refers victims to hospitals and women's centres in the camp. But prevention is harder than response, and cases like this mother of 8 raped last year while collecting firewood are still common.
Some men came. All the other women left, but for me it was too late to run away. They got me. Every time I go out now, I'm terrified. This could happen again, but I have no choice for my children. I have to do it.
Donors like the EU Humanitarian Aid Office are looking at more effective ways of addressing gender-based violence during conflicts. That's why the European Union has spearheaded the call to action on prevention and response to gender-based violence in emergencies.
This is a global initiative with over 70 members under the leadership of the European Union, where they're trying to promote a broader engagement in terms of humanitarian response and ensuring that there's effective accountability, that the humanitarian community actually does something about it.
Sexual violence on a massive scale in South Sudan is being used to exact revenge on entire communities.